All right, today we are digging into an archaeological find that is, well, it's truly one of a kind. It's a story about Vikings, about hidden treasure, and a scientific discovery that's, let's be honest, a little bit gross, but also absolutely fascinating.
So let's just jump right in with a question. Picture this. It's 1972, and archaeologists are digging deep under the city of York in England. They find something that, believe it or not, would later be valued as highly as the crown jewels. Any idea what it could be? Our story kicks off in probably the last place you'd expect to find an ancient Viking treasure, a construction site for a brand new bank. And like a lot of amazing discoveries, it happened almost by accident. So the year is 1972. The city is York, which has these incredibly deep Viking roots. In fact, back then it was called Jorvik. A crew was getting ready to build a new Lloyd's bank, but standard procedure says the archaeologists get to have a look first. And wow, were they about to find something. You know, the site itself was an absolute goldmine. The soil there was so moist and peaty that it preserved stuff that would normally just rot away. We're talking timber, ancient fabrics, even leather goods, a perfect snapshot of life in the 9th century. But among all these incredible finds, there was one object that just didn't fit.
And that one strange object? Well, it would pretty soon overshadow everything else they pulled out of the ground. It was time to uncover a Viking's most personal secret.
First off, this thing was huge. It measured 20 centimeters long, that's a full 8 inches, and about 5 centimeters wide. And when they dated it, it came back as 9th century, right in the middle of the Viking Age in York. They'd found wood, they'd found leather, but what on earth was this?
Yup, you heard me. It was a piece of fossilized human poop. And not just any piece. To this day, it is the largest, most complete ancient human stool ever discovered. Now, this isn't just old poop. The scientific name for it is a coprolite. And for an archaeologist, finding one this intact is like hitting the jackpot. Think of it as a biological time capsule. It gives us direct, unfiltered proof of what a specific person was eating and what their health was like over 1,000 years ago.
So, what secrets did this particular Viking leave behind? Let's take a look at what the scientists found when they started analyzing it. The analysis showed that whoever this belonged to had a diet that was almost entirely meat and grains, probably bread. Now, that's really interesting because other evidence from Jorvik shows people eating a much more varied diet, things like fruits, nuts, leeks, shellfish. A diet this heavy on meat might actually mean our Viking was pretty well off, since meat was more of a luxury. It's a tiny clue into who this person might have been. A diet of just meat and bread might not sound ideal, sure, but the analysis uncovered something much, much more unpleasant about this person's health.
This is the number of parasite eggs they found inside the sample. Not a few, not a dozen, hundreds. This person wasn't just sick, they were absolutely teeming with intestinal parasites. To be specific, they found the eggs of maw-worms and whipworms. These are nasty parasites that would have caused constant stomach pain and probably prevented them from getting the nutrients they needed from their food. I mean, while parasites were pretty common back then, this level of infestation was extreme. It's a really stark reminder that this person was likely in a whole lot of pain every single day.
Okay, so we've got a very large, very old, parasite-filled piece of fossilized poop. And you might be sitting there thinking, what is that actually worth? Well, in 1991, somebody had the job of figuring that out.
And this brings us to Dr. Andrew Jones, a paleoscatologist. And yes, that is a real job title for a scientist who specializes in studying ancient feces. In 1991, the museum needed to get the coprolite insured, so they brought in the expert to put a price tag on it.
And his assessment basically made headlines. He called it the most exciting piece of excrement he'd ever laid eyes on. And then he dropped this incredible line. In its own way, it's as irreplaceable as the crown jewels. And that one quote, which came from a place of pure scientific excitement, is what really cemented its legendary status.
But the story isn't over yet. After surviving for more than 1,000 years buried safely underground, the coprolite's modern journey was about to take a shattering turn.
So, just a quick recap of its wild ride. It's made in the 9th century, dug up in 72, gets its famous valuation in 91, but then, in 2003, disaster. During an event, somebody accidentally dropped the priceless artifact and it broke into 3 pieces. Can you imagine a true archaeological tragedy?
Luckily,
Expert conservators were able to painstakingly put it back together again. And since 2008, the Lloyds Bank Coprolite has been one of the star attractions at the Jorvik Viking Center in York. It's the most direct, the most personal link we have to one single, ordinary person who lived and ate and suffered over 1,000 years ago.
And the incredible story of this find really leaves us with one final thought. I mean, this Viking had absolutely no idea that their most private, everyday moment would end up as a prized museum piece. It kind of makes you wonder, 1,000 years from now, what ordinary, forgotten bits of our own lives will future archaeologists dig up and put on display?